Hey guys, what's going on? Summit here. Today I have a tips and tricks video for you guys, and I feel like this is something that is very overlooked in the competitive COD community, especially with the recent surge of new younger players into the scene. Obviously, with Advanced Warfare, that's usually when you're getting these a lot of people join competitive then. And so they're a lot they're a lot more inexperienced, and they don't have that background of having good teammates that taught them how to communicate really well. And so I feel like this is a big subject that I need to touch on. Before I get into the video, I want to do some background on this gameplay. This is actually last map against some casters that we were playing against. It was Chance and Maze, Chance and Maze, Money Shot Matt, and then one other guy. Honestly, can't remember his name, but we won the first map 6-5. They ended up taking the next map 6-4, and so we went to last map, and that's what you guys are seeing here. I ended up going off in all three games. I played really well, but yeah, that's just the background gameplay that you guys are going to be watching. So let's get into it. So these are some things that are so important when you're having good communication. And the biggest thing about communication is call out during your gunfight instead of after it. And this is such a big thing. You see this all the time. People try to focus as hard as they possibly can when they are in a one-on-one gunfight, and they know they need to get that kill, so they're focusing, and they don't call out until after they've died. And then at that point, sometimes it's too late. So it's just so important to call out people before you end your gunfight, before you end up dying or winning the kill if you get it. So just make sure you're calling out your gunfights during it, and that way your teammates can even maybe help you out, or they can position themselves differently to get the trade. So that is my first tip. Call out during the gunfight instead of after you have lost it. Now, another thing that I'm going to say is always call out when you are planting the bomb. Always call out when you are planting the bomb. Please. This is such a big thing, especially in Search and Destroy. I've seen this so much recently where, I think my teammate's still set up somewhere, and it turns out he's planting the bomb, and then I end up dying, and I'm like, I thought you were watching that. They're like, no, I went to plant the bomb. And I'm like, all right, well then call out you're going to plant the bomb. That is such a huge thing. Call out when you're planting the bomb, because that's just such a big thing. So that's going to be my second tip. Call out when you're planting the bomb or doing anything that has to do with the objective. Pulling flags, going for the returns, everything like that. Just call it out. Now, this next thing kind of goes in hands with that. Don't just call out what you're seeing on the map. So what a lot of people do is they only call out when they see an enemy, right? That's all they call out. And I know this from experience. A lot of people I play with, they only call out when they know where someone is and when they think they see them, right? Call out what you are doing, not just what you're seeing. What you're doing when you're pushing something, when you're stunning, when you're set up to trade your teammate's kill. When you're going to bait with your teammate, don't just call out what you see, but also call out what you are actually doing around the map. And this is huge. If you call out to your teammates that you're going to stun a guy, like, I'm trying to think of a situation. So think about it like this. Your teammate is in a gunfight, and he says, help, I'm one shot. Like, I need help. If you stun him, the enemy, and you call out that you stunned him, then that's going to tell your teammate that he doesn't have to panic and try and run away. He has some time, or it tells your teammate, go ahead and challenge him. He's fully stunned. So that's huge. Call out whenever you're stunning and nading something. Nading is huge too, with pre-nades, or just if you're gonna nade anything. That way your teammates don't end up walking right into it. So call out when you're not nading and stunning. That's another big thing. Now there are a lot of don'ts when it comes to callouts and what you do not want to do, and this is more bigger of the subject because there are so many teammates. I'd say a majority of the people I've played with are like this most of the time, and I'm like this some of the time. I try to be the best I can, but unfortunately I cannot always be a perfect caller outer, if that's what we want to call it. But Don't complain about getting joked before you give out a call out, or just don't complain about getting joked at all. Really, here's the thing, guys. Nobody cares. Really, what it sounds like when you say, dude, I got joked or this host is so bad, it sounds like an excuse. And it doesn't make your teammates think, oh, well, he's just doing bad because he's getting joked. It really frustrates your teammates. And it's like, we just don't want to hear that. Even if they're doing it too, it's ironic. People say, yo, don't complain when you call out or when you're getting joked, and then they turn around and do the same thing. So it's really, really important that you just don't complain. Don't complain about getting joked. Don't complain about how bad the host was during the game. That's huge. If you want to complain about how terrible the host was after the game's done, go ahead. Your teammates will be like, yeah, whatever, dude. That's great. You dropped 5 kills in a hard point that was 20 minutes long. Congrats. Yeah, sure, it was the host, right? And no, maybe not exactly like that, but you can. If you want to mention the host, don't do it during the game, because that's just annoying, and it often interferes with callouts. So instead of calling out, where the guy you just died to is, what you're gonna now do is you're gonna call out, dude, he's choking me. Like, what is this, bro? This is such BS. And by the time you're done complaining, and you're like, yeah, he was over there. Yeah, he's gone now. He's not gonna still be there. By the time your teammates get to him. So you have to really be on top of your composure and just staying calm and not losing full when you're getting joked, because that kind of stuff happens all the time. It's online competitive COD, guys. Like that's going to happen all the time, and it's just something you got to deal with. So yeah, no one cares about how bad the host was. No one cares that you're getting joked beyond belief, because if one person is getting joked by the host, odds are everyone's getting joked by the host, and they're just choosing not to complain about it. So the next thing is, don't sound disappointed when your teammate doesn't turn a call out into a kill. And I'm very specific there in my wording. What I mean by that is, if you're in a situation where you're calling out somebody and you're like, oh, yo, he's right behind you, get him, and then he ends up two-piecing you, he kills you and your teammate, a lot of times people will be like, bro, dude, I called him out, man, come on, you knew where he was, like, we can't lose those. And at that point, you're just making the person who got killed after you feel like, that two-piece is their fault, when in reality, you don't have as good of reaction time as Scump, so it's understandable that you're not turning. Or for example, if you say, "Yo, they're pushing this side of the map," and then your teammate dies on that side of the map, and you're like, "Dude, like, I told you they were over there. Like, you got to be pre-aiming, dude." Like, that's just negative, and it's not something you want to do when you're calling out. You want to keep it strictly to things that you think will help out your teammates, not that will make them feel defensive and everything like that. So just don't sound disappointed when your teammates don't get kills off of your callouts, or if they mishear you. Like, don't get super all pissy and frustrated. Like, dude, you gotta pay attention more. Like, I called that out, yo. That's literally the reason why we're losing rounds. People say that stuff all the time, where they say, like, dude, like, do you have ears? Like, come on. And that's just unnecessary, because at that point it just turns into bickering, and then the bickering turns into a big fight, and it is just not something that is needed in your game. It just takes away from the focus of your overall team, and it really hurts your gameplay. So another thing I want to talk about now, it's another don't have stressed callouts, and I'll talk about here what I mean by that in a second. Basically, the way callouts work. Excuse me, I'm having horrible allergies right now, so bear with me as this allergy season passes us. If I sound congested in this video, that's why. I know you guys probably don't care at all, but I just wanted to let you know. But callouts, you need to know when to stress your callouts and when to not stress your callouts. Most of the times, you do not want stress callouts. I'm going to give you an example of someone who has extremely stressed callouts, and then someone who has very, very non-stressed callouts. And I'll kind of compare the two. So, stressed callouts are where you you act like that, if that kill doesn't happen, that you're going to lose the map. So if that's hard to explain, I want you to think of phase sensor, right? Think of phase sensor. If you've ever heard phase sensor, obviously not competing at the moment, but if you ever heard him call out, he sounds like if you don't get that kill, the whole world is going to explode and everything terrible is going to happen, and it'll just be this awful thing. He almost screams his callouts frantically, right? So that's what not having stress callouts means. You do not want your callouts to be frantic, right? Or stressed, like, yo, he's behind you, he's behind you, he's behind you, yeah, gotta get that kill, gotta get the kill. Because people do that all the time, and they just sound like they're yelling. And I'll admit, Sensor was one of the first players that I ever started watching in competitive, so I unfortunately learned to call out like that just from watching him, which is not good at all, but I'm trying to get better about that. So just don't have stress callouts. Don't make it sound like, that call out is the most important thing happening on the entire map. And if, your teammates don't react to that call out properly, the whole game is just going to be blown, because that's not going to help you guys at all. So that's another major thing, no stress call outs. Now, if you want to take a look at someone, and I admire him for this so much, who has very calm call outs. I don't think I've ever heard him once have a stress call out. This is probably the person that I would love to have the teammate the most, and that is TP. Yes, Tyler Prokow. I don't even know if that's how you spells or pronounce his last name. It's Prokow or something like that. Prolkow. I don't know. Tyler, TP. He did retire back in Black Ops 3. However, he still plays, wagers here and then, tournaments, stuff like that. And if you watch him, it's just such good communication. He never has a single call out where he sounds frantic or where he sounds like he's panicking. Never. He's always so calm, just perfectly, even if it's one of those situations where he just gets absolutely joked, he just is very calm. And I think TP is actually probably one of the best communicators in the entire game. Actually, probably one of the best players in Call of Duty history, arguably. It's unfortunate that he did retire, but he did. So those are going to be my main tips for you guys. If I go over them again, no stress callouts. Learn to call out during the gunfight instead of after you've already lost it. Don't complain about getting joked. Don't complain about the host, all that stuff. Don't sound disappointed when your teammates don't turn callouts into kills, like I said. Don't just call out what you see on the map. Call out, what's going on around you, what you're pushing, all that stuff, and then call out when you're planting the bomb or doing anything related to the objective. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like. Slap in some casters here in game number 3 as we take them down 6-2. I actually played pretty well in this game, I think. 9-3, so yeah, that's pretty good. But if you guys did enjoy, drop a like, and I will see you guys in another tips and tricks video.